The year was 1864, and the war had been dragging on long enough for the seasons to lose their meaning. The hills of Virginia no longer smelled of spring. They smelled of smoke, iron, and sorrow. Every dawn seemed the same, pale light creeping over broken fences, the distant echo of guns, the slow shuffle of another funeral through the mud. In a small farmhouse at the edge of the valley lived a woman named Margaret Hale, though most in town called her the widow of Harper's Run. Her husband had gone to war 2 years earlier and had never come home. The telegram that announced his death arrived on a Sunday morning, folded neat, sealed with a government crest that looked too proud for what it carried inside. She didn't cry when she read it. She simply placed the paper in the drawer beside her wedding ring and went to fetch water for the horses. Grief, she decided, was a luxury for those who could afford to stop working. As the months turned, the war crept closer. Soldiers passed through often sometimes blue coats, sometimes grey. They were all the same to her, hungry, tired, too young to have learned what dying meant. She gave them bread when she could, water from the well, a quiet nod that said she wouldn't ask their side. War had burned the sides away. One night, as rain swept across the valley, a knock came at her door. She opened it to find a boy maybe 16, his uniform soaked, his arm wrapped in a bloodied bandage. Union blue, he could hardly stand. She said nothing, only stepped aside and let him in. He slept on her floor that night, fever burning through him. When he woke, he tried to thank her, but she only shushed him and brought more water. "You'll be gone by morning," she said softly, though not unkindly. But morning came, and he was too weak to move. Days passed, the rain didn't stop. She kept him alive with soup and silence. He told her his name was Eli, that he'd lost his regiment crossing the river. She never told him her husband had died fighting for the other side. Sometimes, late at night, she'd find herself sitting by the window, listening to the wind whistle through the cracks. Eli would stir behind her, muttering half-dreamed apologies to faces she'd never know. She wondered if her husband had sounded the same before the end. When the storm finally cleared, the boy could walk again. He thanked her once more and left at dawn, limping toward the road that led north. She watched him until he vanished into the mist. Then she went back inside and closed the door as though nothing had happened. Weeks later, soldiers returned Confederate this time. They searched her home, her barn, her cellar. One found the corner of a blue uniform hidden under the wash basin and turned to her with suspicion. She didn't flinch. "A dead man's coat," she said evenly. "I use the cloth for rags." They believed her. They left before dusk. That night, she lit a candle in the window and kept it burning until morning. The neighbors said she was waiting for her husband's ghost. But, in truth, she left the light for the boy who might still be wandering through the hills because she had learned something war could never teach. That mercy, once given, lingers longer than loyalty. When peace finally came and soldiers stopped passing through, Margaret still lit her candle every night. The road stayed empty, the hills grew quiet, but the light remained steady, small and stubborn. And sometimes travelers said that from miles away, when the fog rolled thick over Harper's Run, you could still see it glowing, a single flame in the ruins of a country learning how to forgive itself.